Hello everyone. I'm going to do a little bit myself for the Tonbridge AC takeaway mentors group, because this is a subject I guess quite dear to my heart that come across quite a lot. I think that's I'm Mark Hookway, by the way, a coach and team manager at Tonbridge Athletic Club, and I think the reason this is close to my heart is it's a subject where, as we know, a lot of athletes, distance runners that I'm talking about particularly, put in a lot of work, and I think it's really a shame if you get to a stage where you can't bring that hard work to fruition because you've got this fear of racing. And that's what I've asked a few people maybe to talk about, so it'd be interesting to see some other replies on this. It's something that there are ways to try and overcome it, but I've got some notes here. There's just a few things that I use with some of the athletes that are in our training group and at the club. But there's Daley Thompson, who won. I listened to a podcast with him. He won the Olympic decathlon. He was world record holder, one of the greatest competitors in British sport, and he said that he dealt with the pressure situations by dealing with it. He explained that most people just do not want to answer the question. And what's that question? How good am I really? So you have a choice. You duck it, you don't toe the start line, you make all the excuses, you're fearful, you worry, but you'll never find out how good you actually are. And I think that's a good starting point. Which is best? Sit at home, comfort your own home, whilst everybody else is competing, or go and at least give it a go and find out for the truth. The second thing is, I think it's good to be aware everybody suffers with nerves, absolutely everybody. I think if you don't, there's something wrong with you, you don't care. So it's a natural aspect to competing. It's when those nerves become fears that we're trying to deal with. Not trying to eliminate nerves, we're just trying to control fear and get you to the start line. And that's the key, because if you get to the start line, the nerves disappear. As soon as you take that first step in a race, you're not nervous. You're focusing on a lot of other things, tactics, pace, how the other competitors are doing, how you feel, etc. So it's getting to that start line is the crucial point. Everyone will say, and you hear this a lot, try not to focus on the outcome but on the process. And by that, think about the little things leading up to the race that get you to the start line. You've got to do your entry, you're committed then to a degree. You've then got to tell a few people you're going to do it, probably. You're even more committed. You don't necessarily have to tell them, of course. You then have to plan your period leading up to the race, and that's, I think, a key part, because if you have a structure and you tick the bits off, you don't worry so much about the outcome. You're focusing on what you've got to do, whether that be get your kit ready the night before, schedule your sleep, when you will eat, when you will travel, when you will arrive, when you start your warm-up, when you put your racing shoes on, a little bit of thought about how you're going to start the race, worry about the first lap of a track race, whatever it might be, and the rest will start to take care of itself. But it's focus on those, create a framework that get you to the start line, and tick those off as little successes that you've done them, and confidence will build. One thing, little tip that I wish I'd done more of myself, I only started doing it later in my own running career, and that's if you're racing later in the day, in the afternoon or the evening, go for a little jog in the morning, little shakeout, 5-10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it might be suitable to you. Just wrap up well, get a little sweat on, come back, have a shower, relax, and sorry, I'm going to have to interrupt this. One of my puppies is chewing some garden lights. I'll be back to you in a sec. Sorry about that. Sorted him out. Yeah, little shakeout in the morning just relaxes you, just makes you feel better. And to be honest, I've seen some people race really well later in the day. I've trained quite recently in the mornings before. I'm not suggesting that, but yeah, do something. Just rather than sit around all day worrying about it and just feeling dreadful. Little jog, little nap, listen to some music, podcast, whatever it might be, or just do your normal day, but just get a little shakeout in, or do something just to shake yourself up a little bit early in the day. As I say, many people get nervous. I think I've often said to myself that I never got that feeling of so many nerves as I would on the start of an 800 metre race. Even public speaking pales into insignificance in my mind. And so don't think you're odd or any different from anybody else. It's a nerve-wracking experience. So try to embrace that aspect rather than think you're an odd or and you hear the old fight or flight. Temptation is flight, but the right thing to do is to fight it. Now, I think on that aspect, the fact that so many people deal with this, it's worth listening to others. And some of the greats will have the same issues. There's some really good podcasts around these days, and that's a big advantage. You can hear people talking about. There's one I like called "Don't Tell Me the Score" with Simon Mundy. If you look it up, there's an episode with Chris Hoy, 1st of October 2020, talking about confidence. And he was multiple Olympic champion and still had issues, but he had mechanisms for which to deal with. Worth having a listen. And then there's a concept called the chimp paradox. It's a book written by Steve Peters, who himself is a top British veteran sprinter, but sports psychiatrist or psychologist. He's dealt with quite a few people like Ronnie O'Sullivan, plenty of the top cyclists, athletes, football teams, etc. There's an episode with him on the 7th of March 2019. And this chimp paradox, some people find it useful, some people don't, but I think it's quite a good, simple concept of what you can use. Basically, the idea is you have like a chimp sitting on your shoulder, and his job in life seems to be to agitate you in all manner of ways, whether it be through your athletics, through your life, through your relationships, or whatever. He's nagging at you. He's trying to wind you up. He's telling you you're not good enough. You haven't done the training. You're going to fail. There's better people in the race. You're going to, lactic acid is going to swamp you. People are looking at you and they're going to be disappointed. All these things. And you throw those up. And what your job is to do is to calm that chimp down. And so you come up with, sensible reassurance. So, don't worry, Mr. Chimp, I've got this. I've trained consistently for months. I'm in decent shape. I've got a plan how I'm going to race. I've done this before. At the end of the day, there are more important things in life, like my loved ones, health. We've been through a pandemic, so let's put this in perspective. I'm only doing a race today. It's no more than that. I'll have other opportunities coming up. I want to do my best, and that's all I can do. You can only have one target. I'm going to do the very best I can today, and whatever it is, as long as I've tried my hardest and given it a go, I can't ask more of myself. I can't control what everybody else has done in terms of their training, their preparation, and how well they're going to run on the day. I'm just going to focus on myself, get as much as I can out of myself, and that's it. And so, Mr. Chimp, you can go and hide in your box, and I'm going to crack on and start this race and give it my best shot. And I will feel a lot better about myself having done that than sitting at home wondering what if, and as Daly said, not ever knowing how good I was. And so there's a few tips for me. I'm sure others will come up with some great stuff. And you know, as I say, have a chat with somebody if you're really, really worried and you're suffering and it's crucifying you. Don't suffer alone. Good luck, everyone.